and bigger than ever. It's the unofficial 40 from Soonerscoop.com. Presented by the Choctaw Casino and Resort in Durant. Now, here's the entire Sooner Scoop crew. Carey, Josh, Eddie, and Bob.
All right, welcome back. Another edition of the Choctaw Casino and Resort in Durant unofficial 40 podcast, joined by the entire crew. I don't know what the F we're going to talk about today, because this has got to be the slowest news week we've done a pod since
starting the weekly.
Maybe before like Champ U barbecue last year or something.
Since starting the weekly thing, yeah.
I think that's probably welcome news. I don't know if this is the part of the season, I don't know if you particularly want a whole lot of team-specific news, just because that would mean
Eddie,
somebody's probably in trouble.
That's what you want, right? You want you want one or two of them.
You want summer arrest. But you don't want spring arrest.
But if OU didn't suck so bad at basketball, both men's and
true.
women's,
it'd
be a lot more bearable.
We would never talk
we're
about
expecting the women's. Well, I'm not saying, but just the overall malaise of
it's brought
what's
a cloud
going on.
over. Baseball starts on Friday. If you want to do a full
40-degree baseball games,
can't wait.
Review or preview.
Will you go to any of those things?
I'll probably go Friday and Sunday. I don't know if I can on Saturday.
It's going to be in the 40s the entire time. I can't believe they're not starting in Florida or something this year.
Well, they play this one series early, and then they go out to San Diego next weekend, I think, to play San Diego State, and Cal State Fullerton, maybe.
Is your baseball preview in the works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhat.
How hard was it to cut Kyler Murray out of all of it, Eddie?
The what?
How hard was it to cut
it.
Kyler Murray, that segment out of your preview?
Well, it was a big portion of it last year, but
I saw they did lose a pitcher for the season.
Yeah, the Braden Fink kid from Westmore has UCL surgery, so he was going to be probably their biggest arm out of the bullpen. But people forget that. Still Walker was a really good baseball player.
Really good.
He was a third-round draft pick, and nobody ever talks about him. Still Walker, and it's obvious now because of the news on Monday with Murray declaring for the NFL draft, or fully committing himself
to
football, which was, I thought, one of the strangest things of all time. But Steele Walker probably, even before Monday, had a better chance of seeing Major League Baseball before Kyler Murray.
Well, yeah, and Kyler was a great story, and he had some nice moments, but Steele Walker was the star of that team.
Yes, Steele Walker was one of the best college baseball players in the country last year.
All right,
that's your baseball preview.
All right, we're good.
We got it. We baited the hook. Everybody's
talking about guys that won't be here.
I'll just put open. You can skip this.
Briley Ware will
on the rundown.
There you go. Cubs baseball next week.
Choctaw Resort and Casino in Durant is our sponsor. I want you guys to get over to Durant, especially if you're down in the Dallas area. It's a really easy drive. ChoctawCasinos.com. Go check them out. Just a ton of information on the website, but they've got it all, man. We've talked a lot about it. You guys know that I've been there a couple of times. I'm going to go again soon. I'm going to get us all to go here pretty soon. But, it's a great way to spend a weekend, especially this time of year with not much going on. I know they've got some new attractions that are coming that are going to be very exciting over the summer that we'll probably get more into. But, just the hotel is first rate. You guys know we stay in lots of hotels. It's as good as anywhere. The rates are great. They don't try and gouge you. Great concert weekends. And they got the craps and the roulette, man. I don't know what more you want. Great buffet, great steakhouse, 1832 Steakhouse. And I told you guys about the District, the multiplex theater and the bowling alley sports bar. Just a great place. So go check them out. Go win some money out the Choctaw Casino and Resort in Durant. Okay, guys. So you mentioned Kyler Murray in the Open. He is committed fully to playing football. So we won't see. I don't think we'll see Kyler play baseball as long as he's successful in football. Wouldn't you agree with that? He just completely give up baseball.
Perhaps, or you could, I guess, make the argument as good as if he has a really successful run in football, does he get so good at football? He's like, I'm good enough. I'm going to try both now. Not good enough, but I have more leeway.
If he was he was with the same team, and he became like the Russell Wilson of the NFL. then he could dabble.
He could dabble. I mean, Russell Wilson does.
Yeah.
And it's also funny that, like,
so does Garth Brooks.
Well, he does with the Pirates, which is weird.
Wasn't he with the Mets one year?
Was he? I don't know. He's done this before.
Oh, yeah.
Padres, right?
He's so much older now, though.
Yeah.
I guess if you can do it.
Break a
if
hip.
you get into it and do it. If he plays in a game, he should be beaned. First pitch, trying to make a mockery.
He'll play in a spring training game.
Yeah, they should hit him.
No, because he's rich.
And they should hit him in the head.
Baseball players are more likely to like country, I would say. Maybe that's changed.
I think they're probably more into, like, sorry, Josh, the hinder side of things.
Meth rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say white dudes playing baseball would probably be more Nickelback-ish.
Is this racist?
And then there's probably I don't know if it's racist as much as it's probably just...
Can you really be racist against white people? I think that's what's tearing our country apart right now, really, that question.
Yeah. I mean...
let's face it, that's why Trump's president.
I didn't say that.
Wow.
Whoa.
The angry white people. I'm not saying, white racism. I'm saying there's a lot of angry white people out there.
I don't see color.
I'm one of them. So I'm with you guys. I stand with you. There you go. Can't figure me out in my politics. So, Kyler Murray heading to the NFL. He is signed with Eric Burkhart. And, guys, because of this time of the year, like, every time you turn on ESPN or First Take or Get Up or any of what's the Unfinished or what's the damn
there's
Fox,
so many shows
Colin
that
Coward,
just don't need to be around.
Colin Coward is making this like his tent pole on which he's going to do all his shows, but like
it's an odd thing to go down.
Everyone is using him as a talking
sports,
point.
Coward has a take on it right now. It's pretty tiring, actually.
He's going after the Thunder and Russell Westbrook too.
It's a strange hill to die on.
But no, Kyler Murray is the guy. He's the main talking point across the country right now, guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's probably no surprise there. I mean, he is. You listen to whether it be Adam Schefter or Mel Kiper or Ian Rappaport, any NFL insider, quote unquote insider guy, I think has basically put it out there that Kyler Murray's situation and what he brings to each side of the table has never happened. I mean, it's almost unprecedented in today's.
That's a great mess up of a word there.
Yeah, my tongue just kind of got caught a little bit. Unprecedented.
Eddie's been doing what I've been doing all week.
That word was unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
That's a hard one for you to get.
I
give Eddie a little break. He's been doing what I've been doing all week, which is running his morning radio show from beginning to end, which sucks.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, I basically want to kill myself. The only thing that I have going for me right now is nothing. So
I feel like you wake up on that fringe every morning.
Well, yeah, nowadays I do.
It's a lot.
I mean, I just mean in general.
Eddie and I are,
especially at 4:45 in the morning.
Eddie and I are very good at just waking up and plopping ourselves down in a chair where other people are talking and contributing. It's very different when you have to.
Well, you can just throw out a couple lines every once in a while.
I could do morning radio.
But when you gotta like plan and like cut audio and not what I signed up for.
It's not the easy job that I thought I was.
Not what I was
here
here
for.
To
be show ponies.
Exactly.
Well, Josh, I mean, I want you to talk about this because I mean the height thing, real, not real. I mean that's going to be a debate. We've got some audio from Eric Burkhart, his agent, who was on. He's one of the co-hosts of the Comeback season on Barstool Sports that features Johnny Manziel.
If you like Johnny Manziel, you know who Eric Burkhart is.
Yeah. He is kind of his bro agent, I guess you could say.
Brogent.
Did he take that role from Billy Lucci? Or?
Wow.
I do wonder, listening to him, I'll play the audio, and then we can talk about it afterwards. But here is Eric Burkhart talking about Kyler Murray and kind of all the controversy that's surrounding him right now.
I bet Ham, while you tried to find that, I bet Taylor Hams wanted to jerk off Eric Burkhart before.
Okay, stop it.
I mean,
That's a hell of a
number one,
segue.
the NFL is changing, okay? It's these days and age of these old NFL dinosaurs and scouts that sit back and talk about what players can't do. Oh, he can't do that. He's not this. He's not that. Those are the losers. I mean, sorry, that's what it is. If you want all your requirements and all of that, that's not what the NFL game is today. Okay, there's all kinds of successful examples all around the league of guys that are doing it. I mean, Russell Wilson came in, I think, at the combine at just under 5'10" and a half or something. I'll tell you this. The second point is Kyler is not some little shrimp they're making him out to be. I see people have him at 178, 180 pounds. This kid weighs 205 yesterday.
Holy
I watched
shit.
him get on a scale.
Oh
this kid is jacked the F up. I mean, I don't know what
Easy,
people are
Casey.
talking about. Look at that picture of him with the baseball bat and the shoulder pads on. Look at this
Family
kid's
program.
forearms. Look at his shoulders, his hammies, his ass. This kid is built,
Ass?
and he is a big-time dynamic athlete. I mean, he's 205.
He has a nice,
I
he has a
watched
nice
him at the
ass.
Super Bowl right next to my
Abs.
client, Case Keenum, who's 6 foot. I mean, Kyler Murray is, I think he's going to come in right there at 5'10", 5'10" and a half. Wouldn't surprise me right where Russell is. But the success that the Baker Mayfields are having, even the Patrick Mahomes is, and yes, he's a little bit taller, but it's about the boots, the waggles, getting out of the pocket, moving the pocket, and doing a lot of more creative things that keep these defensive linemen and front seven guys kind of off balance is really what it's about. And, you know, RPOs and all of these type of things. Then, but third point, look at the offensive line he played behind at Oklahoma. I mean, he's probably got 3 or 4 first-round picks on that O-line. These guys are giants. I think they were the biggest offensive line in college football. Those are all pros. And he never had a problem whatsoever with vision or seeing or batted balls or any of that stuff. So the stats and analytics bear all of that stuff out. So, again, there's always going to be the old NFL dinosaurs that sit back and go, this, that, a measurement, cool. If you're going to be the guy that passes on a guy for an inch or an inch and a half, when you look at what he can do, I can tell you about 32, I'm just going to go there, 30 maybe, starting quarterbacks in the NFL that can't do what he can do in terms of a lot of other things.
I know he's trying to sell his
That's
guy,
his job, yeah.
but he's right on a lot of the
Yeah.
a lot of the points. I'm like, yes, that's what I've been trying to
He kind of
proclaim
lost
from
me
a
at
hill.
on the 30. You know?
No, yeah, and
That's
he's
when
just-
you're-
he's selling his guy. He's his agent. But at the same time, it's like the whole hype thing. And then I saw Aaron Murray running his mouth today in a story on CBS
Yeah, I saw
Sportsline.
some of that too.
Like when you talk about you're basically when you go straight to his size and say that he's not thick or whatever the words that Aaron Murray used, you're basically saying I've never seen Kyler Murray in person. That's basically what you're saying to me. Because I mean, he is a lot bigger than I think people give him credit for.
Guaranteed Aaron Murray doesn't know that you can spell thick with 2 C's.
No, probably not.
The guys, the thing that had caught my ear, and you guys have been around him more recently than I have. I know I saw Kyler several times in high school. I know all the stuff that they can do, all these stretches that can do you really think there's any way he goes over 5'10"?
No.
Nope.
No, like I would say he's closer to
I'm gonna
5'8" than he is 5'10".
I'm gonna
Yes.
go right now. I'm gonna go now.
I'm 5'8", and he's taller than me.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
I'm going to
Without
go
a
on
doubt.
record right now and say that he measures out at 5'9 3/4.
I think that I could buy that. But like
Or
the
maybe
5'10"
5'9"
and a
and
half
5'8"
or
or something like
5'11", no way. I just
what
don't
did
buy
Baker-
it. But
what
the
did
guy's
Baker
point
Baker
is
was
right.
6'07 or something like that.
Like we have pictures of them side by side, and Kyler's shorter. Obviously, you can tell that he's
You
shorter.
don't know if
but
he's
not,
lifting or not, though.
Like he's not. Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't think he would be though. They were just standing. But I don't
the
know.
midget on Seinfeld.
I don't think Kyler's as small as people think he is, but he's certainly not 6 foot. I mean, that's
No,
ridiculous.
Yeah, and but the guy is right because you talk to any I got 2 words connected there. Any coach, any scout, the thing that will drive them crazy
Scouch.
when you talk to them is I went with couch. If you talk to them about this stuff, is telling them what a guy can't do. Like that's not the point of any of this. That's why guys like Sean McVay and all these and Lincoln Riley, I mean, all these offensive guys can find uses for these players that nobody else cared about. I mean, Dimitri Flowers was an outstanding player for Oklahoma, and he was probably going to go to Boise State before he went to Oklahoma. Like, they had a role for him, and they said, this guy can do these things. He can be good for us this way, but we're not going to use him as a traditional tailback, or we're not going to use him this way. But there are uses for him, and they made the most of those abilities.
It's like
it's the same thing with Kyler.
It's like the argument I got in, not an argument, but I saw a really dumb headline. I think it was in It was in USA Today, and it was Kareem Hunt back in the league and Colin Kaepernick not just proves the And I'm like, it's not the same thing. Like, Colin Kaepernick needs to have a certain system to be in to be an NFL quarterback. Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator in San Francisco when Jim Harbaugh was the coach, and he designed a system around his ability. And if you watch Colin Kaepernick, he throws the ball like a right fielder, he throws the ball. I mean, it's not picture perfect. It's like he slings that thing. And yes, he could throw it with great velocity, but what made him special was his ability to run and pass the ball, and he was in an offense that tailored everything they did around that. Like, Colin Kaepernick can't go in to I would say, like, the Denver Broncos offense, who, strictly a play action pass. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts, he couldn't really be a quarterback in their system either. They'd have to change it for him. So what I'm saying is Kyler Murray has to find the right fit. He has to find an offensive coordinator that can structure an offense around what he does best.
Has there been any talk at all, because I'm not watching these shows, that ever since he announced, has his draft stock changed at all in terms of where people see him?
It's pretty much stayed in the top 10 from everything I've seen.
Yeah, there was Pete Briscoe, is that right? CBS?
I think that's right, yeah.
He came out with one today, and I think that he actually had him falling down in the draft. I haven't been able to look at it, though. I'll try and pull it up and see exactly.
But you guys know how that goes. With quarterbacks, everybody lies. Nobody wants anyone to know what they're doing.
Nobody knows, and nobody figured at this point last year, nobody thought Baker Mayfield was going to go one.
I didn't think there was any. Even his own mother on that documentary said that she wouldn't be able to believe it if Baker went number one, and he went number one.
Look at the Cardinals. Like, they came out and made a statement that they weren't going to take Kyler, but completely left the door open that they're going to take Kyler. Like, we believe in the foundation we have. Well, why wouldn't you say we believe in Josh Rosen? We believe in that. Like, they still left it very open.
We believe we have an excellent quarterback who we're willing to trade if the right offer comes along.
Exactly. Like, the foundation can be whatever you say it is. Like, Cliff Kingsbury is the foundation we believed in, not Josh Rosen. You can do that any way you want.
And not to backtrack too much, but the reason why Kareem Hunt got signed by Cleveland is because he's one of the best running backs in the NFL.
Yes. Yeah. No, but you see what I'm saying? With Kareem Hunt, he can play in any offense pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not
he's
not limited by the style of offense that you play, whereas Colin Kaepernick absolutely is.
And it only gets backed up by the whole Ray Rice scenario of a few years ago, where everybody's like, "Oh, this is." No, it was because the NFL didn't think basically the juice was worth the squeeze. Like, there wasn't. Ray Rice could still kind of play,
but he was on the trailing edges of his career.
Exactly,
and we all know
that guy anymore.
We all know how the NFL values running backs. It's like you have your time, and then you're done, and we wash our hands of you. We move on to another guy that we'll draft in the 7th round. That'll pan out.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Guys. There's a really good chance that Rodney Anderson's going to go in the 4th or 5th round of this draft.
Yeah.
That's a really good potential NFL player that you could get for next to nothing.
And if he stays healthy and he recovers from that knee injury, he'll be a starting running back for somebody next year.
He could be the best running back out of this draft if he can come back and be the guy he was.
Like, if he was the guy he was before he would hurt, he would play a lot. He would get a lot of reps behind, like, Todd Gurley with the Rams.
Oh, sure.
C.J. Anderson's their backup.
Oh, I think he'd be neck and neck with Josh Jacobs as RB1 in this class, because it's not there's no Todd Gurley, there's no Saquon Barkley, there's not those guys in this class.
So that's the thing about this though. Where's Kyler going to go? Nobody really knows. I mean, Mel Kiper can't tell you, Todd McShay can't tell you, because the quarterback is the most closely guarded and misdirected position. It'll be all the way up to the combine. I mean, you'll start to get a feel. Like, I think you've got to feel that, okay, maybe people are looking at Baker as the top quarterback in this class. But it was still, is it Sam Darnold? Is it Baker Mayfield? I mean, people were still going back and forth, and you just didn't really know. But you have an idea. Like, you'll have an idea if it's really Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray by the time the draft gets here.
Yeah, and either or will be picked in the first 13 picks. I mean, there's 4 teams that need quarterbacks.
Well, it's got to be scary to Kyler that Dwayne Haskins has become so mobile as of late.
It's true.
It's going to be it could be interesting to see how that affects Kyler's status.
Really, really underrated.
Stephen A. has got to stop talking about football, both pro and college.
I mean, Eddie, you were talking earlier about it's clear you've never seen Kyler Murray in person. Okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of forgivable. Like, you haven't been to an OU game. There's only 13 of them, 14 of them last year,
Right.
whatever. But you haven't turned on an Ohio State football game all season. Like, you just got to turn the TV on and watch for about 10 seconds to realize that's not a mobile quarterback.
Like, you didn't
and
watch
it's so
it.
obvious
You
what
didn't-
he's stereotyped.
Or just look at him.
Well,
Like, Dwayne Haskins is huge.
But you didn't turn on the TV when Maryland was about to upset them and watch that fourth quarter? Like, who in
Probably too
America
busy
didn't want to
watching-
watch that?
Yeah, he's probably too busy watching boxing or something.
So he could yell at.
Pugilism.
He's an idiot. But I mean, to get on television these days, you got to have a little bit of idiot in you. I mean, look at the 4 or 5 guys that are out there right now that have television shows. Seriously,
It's
like the
Carnival
national
Barkers.
syndicated.
Yeah. Colin Coward. the
I
head
mean,
of them.
I at least respect Shannon Sharp for drinking Henny and smoking cigars. I mean,
Yeah, and he's
No.
retired. He doesn't have anything else to do.
yeah, you do you, dude.
He's filled into that role nicely.
Okay, so OU has set their pro day. Well, OU has. I don't know if
They haven't announced it.
They
but
haven't announced it, but I
That
do
was so
know.
strange that like went under the radar too. That
Yeah.
nobody like picked up on that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, it was announced.
And I would
Someone
assu- I
announced.
would assume
Kyler
it's in
told
Norman,
someone what his
right?
pro day was.
It's
yeah.
It's the one in
Oh, yeah,
Norman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
No,
not
I
having
don't.
his
I
own
can
one.
even further it there, and I'm sorry I haven't put this on the board, but I do know just from people in the business that like OU is actively planning it and getting it set up and getting their media department ready for that day. So that is officially OU's pro day, which is kind of cool now because they do the stuff in the indoor.
Yeah, it was
and
run
then they
really
move
well
it over.
last year.
It's a really good event. And then, of course, you had Baker last year. You have Kyler this year. So every team will be there, essentially.
Yeah, it will be.
And those offensive linemen are going to
yes,
bring in.
the
Like, my
linemen.
God, John Dorsey went to so many OU games this year, West Virginia, and then the Big 12 championship. John Dorsey's going to be there just salivating over all those offensive linemen.
It's kind of funny how accustomed
He's the Browns GM, if
we've
you don't
become
know.
to covering that event. Like it's always been. Even go back to Bradford. Really, it's like every year they've had somebody that you've wanted to check out.
Yeah, there was
From a quarterback position almost.
little bit of
There was
a
a
lull.
lull, yeah.
With the Drew Allen.
Remember when
Blake,
Broyles
yeah.
couldn't do it when he was a senior?
I guess more
because
so
he
just the last
was
2
recovering.
years, 2-3 years.
But yeah, I mean, it comes and goes. It goes, but I mean that's good for Oklahoma because recently, almost every NFL team has been in Norman, which shows you they're putting out more and more NFL talent.
And you're sending 8 to the combine, which is the most I've seen in a long time.
All right, so outside of that,
If we could get in, it'd be worth going to.
to what?
Combine. Like if we could actually get into the workout area, but I don't think you can. I think
No,
you can just do the
it's just
interviews,
the interviews
isn't
and
it?
you watch it on TV.
Yeah, that becomes kind of useless unless you just go up there and ask Kyler repeatedly if he's made a decision between football and baseball.
Maybe he'll be, when he does the interviews, he'll be. I mean, that's the thing. The only thing that can really hurt Kyler, in my opinion, is just bad interviews.
Yeah, and those.
I
would
mean,
be
other
with, like,
than-
the
other
team.
than
you're talking
being
about with the
5'7",
teams, right? Not with
Yeah, with
media?
the teams, because, I mean, we all just we don't know Kyler, but we kind of understand him a little bit, and he's just so introverted.
Yeah,
Like, I would think the only thing that would hurt him is if a team just had a meeting with him, like, wow, this kid really doesn't care, or they get the impression like he's not
sleeps through 'em.
fiery or isn't interested.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, to go along with everything that Baker Mayfield can do on the field, that's where he became the number 1 pick. Was
In the
how-
interviews, yeah.
he won Indianapolis.
Yeah, and he
More or
threw
less.
really well. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
you
then
remember last year when Baker threw? It was like
You think he'll throw up there, Kyler?
he better. I mean, that's what
Right.
got Baker the number. And he has no reason not to throw because he has a fantastic arm. And when you put him up against Haskins and everybody else, they're going to see the velocity. They're going to
Yeah.
see. I mean, they're going to see the different throws. I mean, to me, not throwing is a mistake
Yeah.
if you're Kyler Murray.
I
Eric,
agree with
you
that.
hear us? He's got to throw because he's going to wow people, and I want to see him do the 40. If he just
selfishly?
does bench 40 and throw, that's all he really has to do. But if he knows he's going to have like a ridiculous vertical or a ridiculous broad jump, he should do it.
He should do every athletic skill because
I agree.
he's gonna be off the charts compared to every other quarterback there. It'll be. I mean, they'll be comparing him to Lamar Jackson. Is what it
Maybe
be.
every quarterback that has ever competed at the combine, as far as athleticism.
Didn't Lamar Jackson have some absurd broad jump or something?
He did have some number last year that was crazy. Now that you say that, could have been a long jump. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Jordan Thomas broke the record for short shuttle and didn't do anything for him.
I think that's still on his Twitter page, actually, that he's like the world record holder for short shuttle or something.
Yikes.
By the way,
did Gabe have the fastest three-cone for lineman?
I think Lane Johnson smoked everybody.
Oh, did he?
Ugh.
I don't
Hey,
remember.
we probably should give a little, if we're going to talk former OU corner, Zach Sanchez with a big play over the weekend.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I've enjoyed the AAF. I mean, I enjoy it when it's on like real CBS and they have real announcers. I didn't enjoy the CBS Sports version with the F team. I mean, the just terrible.
Oh, I think that,
Birmingham versus like Memphis or something.
Yeah, I think it was might have been I think it was Big Cat that put it the best. It's perfect for February.
Yeah.
But come March when basketball starts getting hot and you're in the tournament and the playoffs begin in the NBA, there's no chance that I'm going to watch an AAF game over a Sweet 16 game or even a second round, 7 whatever game.
You could go to my favorite place and watch them all, Twin Peaks. They're not a
You
sponsor,
could.
but
You could do all of that.
they do sponsor my radio.
They have 3 locations in Oklahoma City.
2.
2. Thought I would add on.
And one in Tulsa.
No, but I mean, it's fun
What night
for
is bike night up there?
I don't think they do those anymore after the Waco
After the
incident.
Waco incident?
Yeah. I think everyone stopped bike night because of
Did
that.
they?
Not just Twin Peaks. Hooters, whoever. Joe's Crab Shack. No more of those. Well, when you have, what would you call that? A shootout, a mayhem shootout.
It was something, whatever it was. Thanks a lot, Branch Davidians.
Why is it like that when you have places like states that are known or areas that are known for religious, like I think everyone would associate Waco with Baptists because of Baylor. And like Utah's with Mormons.
True.
Why do you always have like the stronger your religious beliefs in the area, the weirder it gets outside of that?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And what you just
Is
said.
it?
Yeah.
Because I don't have a clue.
They live in their own little bubble.
Who, the murderers? The crazy people?
Well, I don't think like the first group of Baptists in Waco weren't crazy people. They were just normal people.
But I mean,
when
I'm not
don't
saying that the
venture outside
Baptists
of
are
that little
crazy.
niche,
Debatable.
Right.
Debatable.
I'm not saying the Baptists are crazy. I'm not.
No. I know what you mean. Like,
I'm just
but,
saying
I
that
mean,
there's
there's
this
some crazy
alternate
people.
there's this alternate society of just madness.
Because people are batshit crazy. Did you see the video? I think you retweeted it. The video of the parents at the wrestling.
Yeah,
thing
that was
this week.
insane.
Like those people should be banned.
And it was
from
women.
parenting.
There were
They
women
should
that
be
were doing
banned
it.
from parenting. You should get your kids taken
It's
away.
just like I say all the time. People that get mad at you on Facebook or on Twitter, and they're like, "You'll never get married, you fat son of a bitch." And I'm just like, and I look at his page. He's like, "I love Jesus and my family," and it's like people are like, they act like it's some lifelong dream to become a parent. Like you're not a success in life unless you have kids. Like, look at these parents. The parents are idiots. They don't deserve to have kids.
There are lots of days I would be totally fine without being a parent. So, just that's out there.
But being a parent is nothing special. I'm just telling you that right now. Don't listen to those stupid PSA ads where, adopt a kid today. It takes anybody can be a parent. No,
Including
that's
me.
literally true.
I'm ready
Oh,
to
are we
announce.
talking about this now?
I'm ready to announce. I'm ready
Wow.
to announce.
What a
it.
segue, too.
What a segue. Being a parent is not
He got
special.
past the miscarriage stage, apparently.
And we know what it is.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know this.
Are you serious? Wait, you're not doing a reveal?
We
Should've
did
done a
a family
Scooperville.
one.
Oh, you did a family
we did
one?
a
Well, thanks
family
for
one.
inviting us,
Super
dickhead.
deal.
I'm joining Josh. I am having a girl.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's
well,
a good thing.
congratulations, Bob.
Because that kid would never be covered by any of us. Because I'm
I
telling
know.
you,
Preferred
there's no
walk-on.
athletic ability. Maybe from your wife's side, there's a history of athletic ability. But not even preferred walk-on. You need academic scholarships for that kid.
Look
Dang
at that. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank
No,
you
we're
very
very
much.
happy for you guys.
Yes,
You and Brittany.
We're going to go public on Facebook tomorrow.
Okay.
And
Well, the Scoop podcast community will know before then.
that's right.
Wow.
Before
So your
everybody.
family. Well, you didn't get invited, but you're kind of family.
I think people should go back and listen to some old pods and see if maybe they picked up a couple of hints or two in there.
yeah,
there were-
I don't.
there were
They
some
you
very
really have to
veiled-
know. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's also a reason why I missed that post Orange Bowl pod.
It is.
Already blaming the kid for things. Unbelievable.
They hadn't even been born
That's
yet.
half their purpose, Eddie. Those children get me out of so much shit I don't want to do.
The what?
I said those kids get me out of a ton of shit I don't want to
Oh.
do. That's half their purpose in this world.
What do you say?
I could not hear him for a minute. It's like my headphones went out. Yeah. I mean, I blame stuff on kids I don't have, so that's fair.
I used to love when people would put stuff on Facebook, say, retweet this if you love your kids. And I was like, I love my son, just to confuse everybody. They're like, you have a kid?
She is due in June, but that's
Oh.
all.
That's good.
Bob.
That's
It
that's a
is.
good time of
It
year to
is
have a
good
kid.
Time. It's
Perfectly planned.
yes.
It's so much better than like Lainey was late July. Like I can't imagine August because
It's hot.
you don't know your wife until she's 8 months pregnant in the middle of summer. That's
In Houston?
yeah,
sounds like a
that's a
death wish.
scary, scary thing. Tiffany was dangerous.
Okay, before we move on, I want to remind you guys, another of our great sponsors, Coop Ale Works. Go to coopaaleworks.com. Check them out. Local brewery here in Oklahoma for the last 9 years. They've got 7 year-round beers and 4 seasonals. Just, you guys know, we love Coop Ale Works. We love their beers. I can get free beer from them, but I don't even do it because, when I want my horny toad blonde, I gotta have it. So I got a fresh sixer in the fridge right now. Looking forward to maybe having some chicken wings over the weekend and some horny toad blonde. So go check it out. Native Amber, DNR, F5 IPA. They've got 7 different varieties for you to choose from. Go to coopaleworks.com and you can find out. It's not just Oklahoma, but surrounding states. You can find out where to get your Coop Ale Works. Okay, guys. Recruiting put to bed finally. That's behind us. And really, it seems like the story. Well, we don't now. Brandon Pierce, we don't have any resolution on at this point. But I guess should we talk portal first, or should we talk 2020?
We could do a short Ron Tatum thing.
Okay, so Bob broke the news. Ron Tatum intended to enter the portal. We checked around. We couldn't actually find out that he was in the portal yet.
I don't think he went through the proper channels initially.
It was a weird deal, man. I think this has been kind of a mess, which kind of shows you what the problems and why coaches are concerned about the portal.
It's the same story that has been tracking him for even going back to high school, isn't it? I mean, he just isn't the best decision maker in the world.
Or doesn't stick
Ron
to
Tatum is
decisions.
kind of a mess. He kind of is going out as he came in.
And the also thing I know, it doesn't seem like he does anything for himself. It seems like he's always listening to what other people want him to do. And I think that could be the case
I think that's fair.
once again here.
He has a little. This is my
Well, let me.
psychological breakdown. He has a little Kevin Durant in him.
Yeah, maybe so. But here's okay. So I had to look this up. Like, what is the process of getting into the portal? And what you do, according to the NCAA, what they tell the student athletes is, look, your coaches can't do anything about this, but you have to tell them, and then you have to get with the compliance department, and they put you in the portal. And so I think Ron felt like
They take a semen sample and put you in the portal.
they don't do that. I think Ron just felt like he could just enter the portal, and he didn't have to do anything else.
Bob, you said it perfectly
The source
when-
made it sound like that. Yes.
Well, you said it perfectly in that it was like Michael Scott when
I
he declares for
declare
bankruptcy.
bankruptcy.
I thought that was
Declare
great.
bankruptcy. Yes.
And just by yelling it, that means that you're now bankrupt.
But I mean, and look, this is one of those deals. When kids transferred, it was messy too. I mean, and I mean, you can. I'm trying to frame this for you because I don't know how much you want to say, Bob, about or Josh or Eddie or any of us. I mean, we all kind of worked on different parts of that, but it was just one of those things where it was just messy.
Yeah, I mean, a source told me that Ron and his family met with Lincoln and Thibodeau last night, sort of laying things out, and then I was told this morning by a source that Tatum still intends to transfer. That conversation, meeting, whatever happened last night, didn't.
So OU was trying to keep him. They were trying to say, okay, you're entering the portal. We'll let you enter the portal, but let's sit down with your family and talk about this.
Right. The automatic question here is why, right? I mean, the kid redshirted for a reason.
Exactly what's happened.
I don't think anybody was under the impression that he was going to be an immediate impact guy.
He suited up. He traveled. I mean, it wasn't like they forgot about him.
Yeah, no, they kept him around.
Yeah.
And if they would have had injuries, he would have had to play, right?
Right.
I don't know. I don't understand what. And
like, how did you have time to get disgruntled, basically?
Right. Or what happened to get you disgruntled to the point that you've basically cut off a program from access to you?
Especially before spring, when you have a new coaching staff. I mean,
sure.
Tibbs is still there, but
sure.
Like Alex Grinch, you could see how you fit, how
you got a fresh start. Yeah. If you didn't like the things that were going on before, now you have a fresh start.
I think Bob is really, really prescient when he said Ron tends to listen to other people. I don't get the feeling this is a Ron call. I don't like, again, going to be careful how much I say, but there was always, even back to his recruitment, there was a lot of who's actually steering this ship. And it kind of changed through the course of his recruitment. And I think you kind of saw that with the Texas commitment and then the change to Oklahoma. And I think you could kind of see that change and when it happened. And now I think you're kind of seeing the change again, I guess would be the way I would say that.
Well, and it was talked about when he committed to Texas, like the reasonings weren't so much his as it was the people around him, because they thought that would make people appreciate him more, like around here. Like that was something that was floating out there.
Well, I know that when he committed at the time of his announcement, he said something. His dad said something during the press conference about OU had overlooked him and hadn't given him the same attention and blah, blah, blah. OU was his first offer, and his second offer. I think his first one was
Kansas.
Yeah. I mean, like somebody that was just a non-competitor in the conversation. But like OU was right there with him the whole time. And so, like I said, there's been, for some of those around him, there's just been this narrative that Oklahoma just wasn't right for him. And I don't know why. I don't think Oklahoma, I mean, from me kind of looking at it from as close inside as I can be, and Bob can speak to it as well. I never saw anything that I thought Oklahoma, well, that was kind of a misstep. They kind of did that wrong. Like, I thought they handled it fine. They just, like I said, some people, you just can't, I guess, Cool Hand Luke here, you just can't reach. Like, they just can't, for whatever reason, they weren't getting the message.
Is there a market out there for Ron Tatum? I mean, sure, he was highly recruited out of high school, but I don't know.
Every school that's not a Power 5 school,
right,
is going to want to.
But
he
can't improve himself.
Well, that's the thing.
His situation, I guess, was the better way to put it.
Yeah, I don't think he understands. I don't think he understands the level of desire that people have for him. It's not going to be. The doors aren't opening back up to Texas and Michigan.
Because just by leaving OU, that brings up a question mark. Okay, well then what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
If it wasn't good for you, what's wrong?
And now people are looking at you as a little bit of a hard luck case. Like, okay, this is a guy that's got a lot of potential. And Josh has talked about this a lot. Like, that was always the biggest knock on him, is that some plays he would look like an NFL talent. Other plays he wouldn't even look like he belonged on varsity. I mean, and so that reputation is out there. And trust me, when people call me and ask me, hey, what about this Ron Tatum kid? I'm like, well, he's been knocked for not being consistent. That's the nicest, the one way I
think that's the nice version.
Yeah, that's the nice version. So, but yeah, I mean, these smaller schools and schools that might be Power 5, but might suck, those are the ones that are going to be willing to take him because they're already taking a chance now that he's transferred.
And I think the thing for Lincoln is trying to keep him just because Ron Tatum, of course, was the first commitment for Riley after he became head coach. Riley's talked about that before, how much it meant to him that the first one was a kid within the state, was on defense, and was flipping them from Texas. So I think, that's still a special sentimental thing for Lincoln, but I just don't think, no matter what they say, I can't see Tatum coming back to Norman.
These OU Texas battles haven't turned out so well for
for anybody.
Yeah, Rising is transferred to Utah. Cameron Rising.
Is that official? Did I just completely miss that? When did he announce that?
Yeah, it was announced.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I stopped following, so I could see how you would. Who cares?
Yeah,
You stop following. You have enough people.
I think we can all say that Casey Thompson was on the doorstep of transferring, and the only reason he's still there is because everybody else left.
Yeah, no doubt. He made the right decision.
Yeah.
By deciding last, he made the best decision.
Yeah, by waiting it out.
Herman's going to have Ehlinger killed at some point this year, so he's right in.
Yeah, he doesn't have a good history of making it through a season.
No.
Especially when you look at all those Texas running backs that entered the portal, too.
Oh, my God.
The portal is a very, very popular place for the college football athlete.
Well,
it
Eddie?
shouldn't be popular this time of year, though. That's the thing. The guys that are leaving now, those are the malcontents.
Well, Eddie can tell us about it. He saw it in Arizona. He found the portal.
I did find the portal. Took a lot of extracurricular activities to get there.
Well, there's another word. Okay, so...
I think there's something wrong with my tongue.
Do you want to give it one more shot?
Extracurricular.
There you go. That's very nice. Okay, so Ron Tatum stuff's happening, but this is also the time of year when the 2020 offers go out. Josh has been waging a war. I don't know if it's so much a war about Oklahoma offers and when they go out on Twitter lately.
Are we teeing me up? Or are we just letting this go?
No, I thought it was a great point. I would like for you to explain it. And you've been putting on your top 40 list and all that stuff. So you've just been taking it left and right from OK Preps lately.
Yeah, I think I was once known as a real champion of Oklahoma Preps, and now they're like, that guy just shits on us all the time. I'm sitting here as a guy that spent early January watching the two best high school games in the country, the Under Armour All-American game and the All-American game. God, I have to practice every time I say it. So I see all those guys. I see, the players over there, including Dax Hill, the one Oklahoma guy that played in those two games. And then I come back and I spent the next few weeks watching tape, trying to get my rankings ready for 2020, finishing out 2019, and obviously watching a bunch of 2021 guys. So I feel like I was in a really good place to kind of have the conversation. And it's very interesting because when I talk to people outside of Oklahoma, there's just a complete disrespect for how many good players there are in Oklahoma. There really are, just about every year, at least 40 Division I football players, which with the numbers within the state, the population, that's really good. That's a good number. But at the same time, everybody in Oklahoma thinks their guy is one level better than he is. Like Dax Hill's ready for the NFL. Or, Josh Jacobs was the most disrespected player in the history of Oklahoma high school football. Josh Jacobs is a really good player. This idea, though, that Oklahoma missed on him. What about the 30 other schools that recruit Oklahoma all the time? The Wyomings, the Arkansas States,
the Missouris.
They weren't there either. There were a few. Wyoming was involved. I don't want to include them.
Please, if you're going to go with that narrative, go look at his stats this year. You're acting like he was a 2,000-yard running back this year. Most games he didn't break 100.
Jacobs is a really good player that gets exacerbated because Oklahoma, that class didn't go well for them. They passed on Justice Hill and they passed on Josh Jacobs, and they got Abdul Adams.
I think is going to be a really good running back at Syracuse. I like Abdul Adams.
No, I don't think Abdul's a bad player, but but he
was also
and I was a big Abdul fan. I don't want to make this sound like, I I really like Josh Jacobs, but I thought OU was fine with Abdul.
But that was
Adams.
also that transition where Lincoln was bringing in guys. You know, he was more familiar with Abdul Adams, recruiting him from close to his area.
Well, and you know what's amazing about the Josh Jacobs story is, and I didn't even realize this until I was watching something on like SEC Network the other day, and they were talking about Josh Jacobs during his signing day thing, had to delay it twice to wait for Alabama to make a final verdict on if they would take him.
Yeah.
So OU offers you before Alabama did, stood by it, was ready to go with it.
It was a committable offer.
But Alabama made you literally stop your school's ceremony twice to decide if they would actually be willing to take you, and they're the good guys?
Well,
How the hell does that work?
it's an easy narrative to be able to tell and shit
Yeah,
on the
like,
the in-state school.
And that's why I got in that thing during the Orange Bowl that pissed everybody off, because I was like, this is just not true. This is not what happened. I know it's a fun story to tell, but it's bullshit. And so, you know, whatever. That's fine. But I don't understand that.
It's kind of like me arguing with Golden State fans right now that you know that Paul George and Russell Westbrook clearly like each other more than KD and Russell did, and all the Golden State fans could say is, that's not true. He mentioned him in his MVP speech. I said, yeah, he said he wanted to tackle him.
Yeah, you know, but to kind of get back on what we're talking about, there are several guys, especially in the Tulsa area, that feel like they should be offered right now. And I get that. I think in a couple of cases, it's clear that Oklahoma just doesn't agree. I think with Miles Slusher, Oklahoma's just not there with him right now. I don't know that it's any consolation. I think in a lot of years, OU would have already offered Sevion Morrison.
Right.
I think that would have happened.
I agree. Yeah.
It's an obscene year for running backs. Like I've said it over and over and over again. I can't put it enough into context. I'm going to Los Angeles and going to see Kendall Milton, Bijan Robinson, and probably another kid that are all OU offers that are top 100 guys in the country. And Bijan Robinson's a top 75 guy in the country, and he's probably fourth or fifth down OU's pecking order. Like, it's a crazy year, and not only is it crazy, Oklahoma's in a really good place with a lot of these guys.
And
they've already got Jason McClellan. Zach Evans is the number one player in the country by some. You know, Kendall Milton, who I will see this weekend, is a top 20 guy in the country. I mean, it's a deal where you've got to understand. You can't take 5 running backs. They just can't. I'm sorry, but you would want to be in that anyway.
So yeah, and I think it's interesting with the whole Broken Arrow thing, because it's obviously a program that's showing a lot of confidence right now. And you look at their signing day this year, and who was the linebacker that signed with Kansas?
Yeah, Gavin Potter.
Yeah, Gavin Potter. I mean, the stuff. It's like everybody wants to have a chip on their shoulder, and that's fine. I mean, like, you've seen kids go from Texas to Oklahoma that have that chip because they didn't get off from Texas, and they ended up being great players at Oklahoma. Like, that just happens. But it does seem like the level of chip or the weight of the chip is a little bit stronger in the Broken Arrow program right now.
Well, Josh, I guess the one thing that to counteract it is,
but they're recruiting their ass off to get Rame.
Yeah, they want
Andrew
Rame.
Rame.
They want Andrew Rame, but you have a kid like Javian Hester who's being included with Morrison and Slusher, and I don't know how fair that is when Hester was offered nearly 12 months ago to this day. It was this weekend when he was offered. And he said it was his dream offer. This was his dream school. 12 months later, there's no sign that is even true.
He's the really interesting one, because he got included in that.
Right.
In the little video blurb that went up, it was like 50 seconds. And it was really weird because it just didn't make any sense. And he didn't talk at all about the situation. And I've talked to Javian a little bit, and he tells me that really since the spring game last year, he's had very little contact with Oklahoma. Now, I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is. I mean, I kind of thought, okay, OU signed Hazelwood, they signed Weiss, they signed Bridges. Maybe they're just really going to focus on slot guys. But then they go and sign Kendarius Taylor, and you're like, well, okay, he's not a slot guy. And then you look at Michael Wyman's coming in for an official visit, and you're like, okay. Like, I don't understand it, because Javian Hester is an extremely talented guy. I think part of it at this moment is Mike Stoops is largely in charge, and along with Cale Gundy, they both had a large role in recruiting that area of Oklahoma. And with that changeover, I think there was kind of a dropping of the ball. And I can tell you, talking to several people in the Tulsa area, obviously because a lot of these guys we're talking about were defensive backs, there was also a lot of connection to Carey Cooks. Now, that's only a further, reason to say, okay, that's why some of this contact is weird right now. But I can also say that there are several people up there that weren't always in love with the contact they had with Carey Cooks.
Right.
Like there was some feeling that maybe, an offer was made and then OU would just walk away from their guy. Just kind of expect, okay, he's going to come because he's from Oklahoma and we're Oklahoma, and that's it. So I get that.
It would make sense
that's
to alienate
a problem.
the best football programs in the state. It's a good recruiting plan.
Yeah, I mean, I get that you're Oklahoma and you're rolling right now, and that's great. Booker T, Broken Arrow, Jinx, Union, you need to go up there and pay the respects and make sure you're all good with them. Now, I will say, when you talk to certain people at those schools, it's all good. But then you talk to others, and I don't know if you kind of have to weigh out what's the real story here. But there's no way that Javion Hester should go a year without talking to somebody at Oklahoma or having any real conversations. And he's never acted disgruntled about this whole thing. And really, Sevion really hasn't either. I think he just he answers the questions he gets asked. And so I think that's some of it for him. But yeah, there's no question. I mean, there are some things about Oklahoma preps that OU could do better. There's no doubt about it. At the same time, a lot of high school coaches in the state think their Tulsa-level talent is an OU guy. And they don't see enough outside the state to recognize that's not the same thing. Like that guy isn't.
Yeah, your
really
ceiling. Your ceiling is lower than what the real ceiling is.
Well, I mean, and the counter to the whole argument
is
that is so easy to make. Josh Proctor's first offer, Oklahoma. Stephen Parker's first offer, Oklahoma. Dax Hill, first offer, Oklahoma. Andrew Rame, you go down the list.
Yeah, when you are legit,
guy is a no doubt guy. Yeah. OU doesn't screw around about it.
And it's committable, and that was the other thing I wanted to bring up with you is about, it just, I don't know, if LSU offers a kid here and doesn't take him, that doesn't matter. But what were to happen if you offered a Broken Arrow kid, and then 2 months later he tries to commit and you say no?
Yep. Oh, a lot of these guys in state right now that think they've got some offers they don't have. I mean, there are several guys in state almost every year that pick up an Alabama offer. It's really weird that these guys that don't have really any other offers that match up with Alabama all of a sudden don't go to Alabama. Why do you think that is, guys? Think that through.
And why, if you do get picked up or picking up an offer from Alabama and you're an out-of-state kid right now with, a modest list of schools that are interested, why don't you go ahead and commit to Alabama?
Sure. And guys, it's not just about Oklahoma. This is the way Alabama does business. I can tell you, everybody freaked out last year when Alabama offered Corey Roberson. Well, he's a kid I knew really well. I went over to Manville and interviewed him I think it was the next day.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we were talking, and he goes, and it was really after the interview was done, and he goes, yeah, they want me to come over and camp. And I was like, okay, just kind of want to work you out, see how you look. And he goes, well, yeah, they kind of told me that, really for that offer to be a real thing, for them to finalize that offer, I had to come to camp and earn it. That's just the way Alabama operates, and that's not an Oklahoma thing. That's no slight. That's just the way, unless you are one of these Alabama freak shows, the guys that the tight end that Carey loves. Carey, O.J. Howard.
Yeah.
If you're one of those guys, you don't have to go to camp. That's fine. You're a dude you're the 1%. That's fine. But most guys have to go to camp and earn that offer, and and these kids, because it hurts their pride, they don't want to say that.
Yeah.
I just got an Alabama offer, and they know the real deal. But they're not going to say that because it makes it look like there's a qualifier when they just want to say, I got an Alabama offer.
You know what? What parents more than these guys that try and say, we'll get you recruited. I don't know what you call those guys. They need
couriers?
They need...
Are they couriers?
Couriers?
Couriers? Is that the right word?
I don't know what that means.
He's trying to say courier.
He is trying to say courier.
Okay.
No. Maybe not.
It is a word day for you, young man.
Pieces.
We should start having a segment every week where we pick a dictionary word for Eddie just to read for us.
I am smart.
I know you are. You're not but sometimes pronunciation is an issue. I think you know it.
Well, I'm trying to. No, I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying that I'm trying to think of a word that we could use that wouldn't be a cuss word for these guys.
You need how you type a story in Word and it autocorrects for you? You need
that out of my mouth?
Autocorrect for your brain.
Well, if I could do that.
Because I can tell you right now, I could not win a spelling contest against a high school kid because Microsoft Word has completely ruined my ability to spell.
There's no need to be able to spell.
Yeah. But no, here's what they...
No reason to spell, kids.
You don't need these charlatans. Is that the word you were looking for?
Maybe.
Okay, that's right.
You don't need these people that promise you that they will help you get recruited. What you need is to hire a bullshit detector. You need to hire someone that can... Even because these families and these kids want to believe so much that these offers are real and that they could come in if they wanted to, but they want to see what else they can get in, while all this is going on. So the kids and the families do it to themselves. You need someone to come in and say, I'm sorry, I've got to call you on your bullshit. That's not a committable offer, and you don't need to go around like you can commit to this place. Well,
a perfect example is the kid, and for the parents that are listening to this that have recruits, to take this one and it makes you look bad. The people that are given this crap is they're just going to walk away from this and no one's ever going to know they did this. So the defensive tackle from Wichita Falls last year that started claiming offers when he was a sophomore,
Lloyd Murray.
Yeah, Lloyd Murray.
Oh boy.
Publicly tried to commit to Oklahoma twice until Oklahoma eventually had to contact him and basically read in the riot act. You do not have an offer from us. We are not going to offer you. Nothing's happening here.
That's mind-blowing to me that somebody thinks that in 2019, after story after story, this happens every year. There's somebody out there, there's a dumbass out there that tries to commit to a school that's not even recruiting him. How do you lie to yourself?
Yeah, when people can
so much,
they can refute that within minutes.
Seconds. They're who is this guy?
Hang on. This is what I'm getting into, though. This was not on him. He was working with a group that was telling him he was getting all these offers.
That they were getting him those offers.
Yes, and that Oklahoma offered you today, Florida State offered you today, and he took it on faith. And then he had to come back and realize after all his Twitter, I'm committing to Florida State, I'm committing to Oklahoma, I'm committing to, I'm going to go check out Texas this weekend. He had to come down to it. I think he ended up signing with UTEP.
Colorado.
Okay. So,
but he went Ole Miss. He went Florida State. He committed 5 times during the cycle because he had no clue what was real and what he would do. Because after he got found out by the Sooners the first time, the second time when he claimed the offer, he tagged Tibbs, he tagged Ruffin, and then that's how we quickly found out that. Well, that made.
And then you realized they weren't even following.
It made it look legit until you did a little bit of research and you realized, wait a minute, that's still not true.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, how do these people get away with these charlatans? How do they get away with pulling stuff like this? Just because, I guess, in a sad way, these parents don't have parents that are involved in their.
No, that's not at all. It's just that. Look, you've been to enough camps. You've had parents come up to you. But, they literally have no idea how this process works.
There's probably some
it's second nature.
Quote unquote reporters out there that tell people,
"Oh yeah,
I can get you an offer."
They're absolutely. We know that there are in this market.
I know.
We know that happens.
I'm a cynic by nature. I have 2 kids. Lainey, is into all these things. If some gymnastics person came up to me tomorrow and was like, "Oh, your kid really has a future. We want her to come work out at the facility where Simone Biles worked," okay, great. I wouldn't know that that's bullshit.
Right.
I have no grounds for it. And because it's my daughter, I want to believe it's true.
Yeah.
She's really good. And that's part of it is you want to believe these things are true so you don't do the checking even if your ears kind of perk up something doesn't smell right about this.
Let's just say if
my daughter's not special at gymnastics.
If you are not having direct contact with a coach, do not let someone else tell you who has and who hasn't. A person that's not affiliated with the school tell you who has given you offers and who hasn't.
I think there's a key word that's being forgotten in all of this. You have to be recruited by these schools. Like, these schools are going to bend over backwards to try and get you
if you haven't
on
gotten a
campus.
letter in the mail and then all of a sudden someone tells you, oh, OU offered you today, something's fishy.
Being recruited means you're being wanted.
Yeah.
Like,
They're
you know if
actively-
somebody's trying to flirt with you or
Yeah.
not. Like, that's what it comes down
that
to.
part is fair. That
It's
part
what
is
it comes
fair.
down to.
Don't
Do they-
commit to a place where you've never talked to
New
a coach.
recruiting tool. New recruiting tool. I think every school should put this in a flyer. If you're a recruit, you should ask yourself, does this guy want my dick? And if they do, you're being recruited. If they don't, you're not.
Well,
If you feel like they would throw a hooker through your window, then that might be your
Or
school.
sleep on your floor.
well,
Yeah.
that-
Ask you
they
to
would
come to
Jim
Ann
Harbaugh
Arbor
you.
with you.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of the first things I had to learn when I started doing this is you just ask them, who are you talking to? And if they don't know,
Yeah.
then they're clearly,
know.
yeah, you would know what coach has been texting you, has been calling
There's
you.
a protocol that everybody
you
goes
would
through.
know.
Trust me, I remember I got a letter. When I started getting letters in high school from teams, I thought, oh my God, I can go to school here. And then you get a letter, and then you try and contact the coach, but you really can't get a hold
There's
of
a
him.
return envelope in there
Yeah,
with a
there's
donation
no-
amount.
there's, like-
what? Why does this guy want to?
But
trying
they
to make
really
me
can't
get a
call you back.
donation to school.
And then so maybe you go to Stillwater one year, and the pitching coach is down there at the bullpen, and you go down and you try and talk to him, and he's like, "Hey, nice to see you again in person. I don't really know."
Yeah.
Then you realize, yeah, I'm not getting a scholarship there.
No, not me. All right.
Yeah. Even as a 17-year-old that wanted to believe that I was going to get a scholarship to play Division I baseball, I was smart enough to know.
Well-
Like, I really wanted to, so I get it. I really wanted to believe.
Well, and that's the other side of it too. Or there's a bunch of kids, and rightfully so, have a bunch of belief in themselves, and they're told from the moment that they start playing
It
to
was very exciting.
believe in yourself, and you're going to be the best of your ability, and all this other shit.
Very
and-
exciting when I finally got to choose between Cameron University, Vernon Junior College, and Coffeyville Junior College.
Did you have a ceremony?
Did you have ceremony?
Nobody had ceremonies.
Nobody
then.
had a.
I basically said, okay, you pay for tuition? Yes. You pay for books? Yes. You pay for room? Yes. Okay, I'm yours.
So
If you would have been like
What-
10 years younger and choosing between AAU programs, that Greg Swain would have covered it.
do we take it as an affront to your parents that you got as far away of your three choices as possible?
Well, I lived in Coffeyville. My grandparents lived in Coffeyville when I was little. So
Coffeyville checked all the boxes. He just
I was
he
thinking
just went
Duncan. I was
through
like,
them.
well, okay, he didn't go to.
I didn't want to go to Vernon, Texas. I'd never
Who
even been to
does?
Vernon, Texas.
What part is that?
It's like by Wichita Falls. It's southeast or northeast.
They played a lot in schools, a lot in football.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who does? Oh, Vernon.
Yeah.
Vernon High School. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Is there a Vernon High School?
no, Vernon Junior. I'm sure there's Vernon High School. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Vernon High School. Like I said, I know they've played. I'm almost certain of Lawton Mack a couple times.
So, I mean, I think the moral of the story is
The recruiting process.
first
is
get a letter
really-
from a school. That's the first step.
Yeah.
I think that's still the first step. That you get a letter saying, "Hey, we've noticed you, and
You got to be self-aware.
we're
too,
interested,
though.
and
You
this
gotta
is
be-
what we do."
You got to be self-aware that if a.
But
I don't know.
I get it though. You want to believe.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
you wanna believe
really
anybody.
want to believe.
You'll trust anybody that says they believe in you.
But if you're not hearing from the coach directly or the position coach directly, DMs, Skype, whatever, and you hear you've got an offer, you don't have an offer.
Yeah. That's why we only mess with people that really have offers at OU. We don't mess with any scrubs.
And by the way, not that we're going to give you one, but you would like. Did that kid have a rival's profile when he committed to OU? Even like that's the next step.
I think he did.
Yeah.
have
He
something.
did.
Yeah.
He had.
Because he had
Again,
claimed
he
so
tweeted
many,
out all these offers.
Right, he had claimed so many. You have to create it.
And in Wichita Falls, like nobody had really seen him, and his tape actually wasn't bad. But
Well,
then
yeah,
you would
I
go
mean, if
see
he-
him, and he
if he
was
signed
5'10" and a half.
If he
wasn't
signed with
6'2".
Colorado, he's not a
Yeah.
terrible football player.
Yeah, oh no, he's a good football player. No, the problem was, like I said, it was just expectations got out of control from what reality was.
Maybe we should just have a separate podcast where we expose the charlatans and the services.
I'd love to do that.
Well, Josh, you remember last year, Caleb Willis, the 2020 running back, that thought that he had committed? Oh, that was rough, too.
Do you remember the kid? I think he was a JUCO kid from Louisiana that was at some junior college.
The running, yeah. Yep.
He announces he's committing. He goes onto Twitter and he tweets it out, and I'm like, well, hell. And so I contact some people. I'm like, I didn't ever even heard about this kid, and they're like, we don't know who this kid is.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of like started asking him some real questions. And after about the third question, he kind of figures out that I'm onto his bullshit, and he starts cussing at me. He got mad.
Ooh.
Like, he was not pleased that I had ruined his moment.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
So, he was just like, F you, man, for not believing me, blah, blah, blah. You can say whatever you want. I know I have an offer, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not here to, like, ruin the kid. Like, I can tell the story kind of funnily afterward. But, like, during the moment, I'm trying to be nice to him. Like, look, man, I'm hearing some different things. I'm hearing maybe that you should talk to them before you go any further with all this. He's like, no, man, I'm committed, blah, blah, blah. Never heard from the kid again.
You should have contacted me, and I could have taken a picture of the campus, and we could have sent it to him and said, it's the only time you're going to see Norman, motherfucker.
God. So unnecessary.
It's like I was reading the story the other day. Did you guys read that about in the Dallas Morning News about the kid, or the guy who was like 25 and re-enrolled in the Dallas high school system?
Yeah,
that was a huge deal. And in fact, he went to the same high school as forget the guy, Wolonsky. Is it David Wolonsky that wrote for the Star Telegram? He's on the ticket every once in a while. And now he does the entertainment side, I thought, of Dallas. Richard Wolonsky? I don't know. Anyways, that story was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gave me an idea. As long as you didn't get a girlfriend, I think you'd be okay. I mean, besides like the portraying somebody that you're not, it'd be kind of fun to go back to high school now that you're like 29, 30 years old.
Would you have
31,
to pass any classes?
32 in a month. No, I mean, I guess, but how hard can some of those classes be?
Please don't let that Nebraska running back do that. Go back to high school.
Well, he might. He's into the revenge porn, it sounds like.
Wow.
And they let him play for an entire year.
Well, they didn't know. He had been charged with
anything. It's because they didn't do any.
But they hadn't been charged with anything.
Research to it. Like they didn't ask for any details on.
That's not. I'm not. There is no. It's disgusting what he did, but it is amazing to me how that stuff. There's a law for revenge porn for a reason because people do it. But that was a totally different deal. That wasn't like consensual sex between kids or anything. I don't want to talk about it. It's gross. Yeah, none. Congratulations on bringing the kid in this world, Bob.
Can't wait.
Oh my God. Like we all kind of knew it was there, but for you to drag it back into the conversation, and I don't mean it isn't the child, but just the topic to bring that back in, that's just cold-blooded, man.
Okay, so anything else recruiting-wise you guys want to hit on before we get out of here today?
Josh is heading somewhere this weekend.
Yeah, Josh is taking a trip.
Yeah, going to go out to the L.A. Rivals camp, Adidas camp, whatever the hell you want to call it. Really
3-star life, Josh.
Yeah.
3-stripe life.
Yeah. 3-stripe life, yeah. 3-star life is not what I'll be living.
No.
This is awesome. It's a really good roster. Keely Ringo will be there. Probably as good a chance as OU has any 5-star in the country would probably be him. So I mentioned Kendall Milton earlier, the running back that's really one of OU's top targets in the country. Bijan Robinson, Shane Latham, not Shane. What's it? Is it Shane? I got that right. It's Latham, the safety from Arizona, whose first name I'm clearly messing up.
I'm blanking on it too.
Latham Ransom. That's
Latham.
There we go. There we go. Wow, that was
what
really
a name.
bad.
Latham Ransom.
Yeah, it's not every day you have two last names.
Yeah.
So
Ransom's a strong name.
Yeah, that's solid.
He should meet Paul
There
George.
is Jacoby Covington, who's going to be in Oklahoma for the Junior Day next weekend. So that's obviously a good chance to talk with him a little bit. Kendall Milton, kind of to come back to that and stay on the same topic, he'll be there next week. So, again, a lot of guys you get to talk to that just kind of get a feel for. Trying to look over my list here. Obviously, Darian Green-Warren, my first time to see him in person, OU's commitment. Justin Flo, the number one linebacker in the country, who said he's going to visit Oklahoma probably sometime this spring. Jordan Banks, Court Williams, Jeff Percy. I mean, you go down the list, there are a lot of dudes, and then you get into the 2021s and 2022s, and it's crazy. I mean, it's Southern California. There's going to be – I'll probably see half a dozen guys this week that at some point in the next 2 or 3 classes will sign with OU.
Is Bryce Young going to be there?
He is expected to be there. I'm interested on how to handle that, and I kind of wrote it in Oklahoma this morning. Like, it feels like it's kind of cool right now, but everybody kind of knows, like, that could heat up real easily. Like, if things don't start well, this season for USC and the hot seat really heats up for Clay Helton, then you'd have to think OU is probably right there ready to swoop in for Bryce Young.
Can we call Warren DGW? Is that right? Is it Green Warren? Warren? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's almost like 3 initials that start with a D haven't worked out too well.
I think the only problem with that is the association.
You're going to find out a lot more, but kind of what have you made out of everything with him? The whole Carey Cooks thing that happened, that seemed to blow over, but is that, I guess that's part of your curiosity, getting out there and talking to him about some of that stuff?
Yeah, because you know how it is. I mean, like, even on the phone, these kids, especially a guy at a place like Mater Dei, he's so used to doing interviews and he's so comfortable with it. Like, I really like to sit there and talk with a guy so I can kind of get a feel of what he's really thinking, because on one hand, Darian will tell you, I'm 100% committed to Oklahoma. I feel really good about it. I love, Coach Riley, and I'm getting a good relationship with Coach Manning, and I like Coach Grinch and all these things. And then on the other side, he's like, well, I was really close to Coach Cooks. He was my primary guy. He was the guy that made the Oklahoma offer, which is my first offer, and all these things. So, like, it's not that he's saying two different things. It's just both that they can be taken in very different ways because they can both be true. So, and he's going to take visits. He's going to look around. So, like I said, I just kind of want to talk with him and see where he's at. And obviously he's getting some, he's got a lot of teammates that have gone to a lot of different schools. So there's a lot of guys coming at him, talking to him about, the programs they're at, whether it's Washington or his good buddy Elias Ricks committed to LSU, all these things. So just kind of to have a chance to talk with him. Plus, just get a chance to watch him, get some video of him, get a real feel for where he is as a player.
I know. I saw the other day that Elias Ricks is contemplating his 5th visit, and maybe OU has a shot there. Is there anything still brewing there, or do you think he's just LSU all the? Because that LSU pick was strange, just from the outside.
It was really out of nowhere. To me, like, I don't have a doubt that he thinks that's what he's going to do right now. But
he was fantastic in Atlanta last year, by the way.
Oh, he's somebody today. I think in one of the threads that I've got some questions going. Somebody kind of compared him to one of the other 5-star corners. I was like, man, he's 6'2.5", 6'3". I mean, he's every bit what he's listed, and he moves like he's 5'11". Like he's not normal. And I think, and so like I said, I do think Oklahoma could get a visit there. I mean, they've obviously built a lot of inroads into Mater Dei. Having Jeremiah Cradell there, talking to those guys, getting them back. And as much as OU fans love to bash him, you literally cannot overstate the Brendan Radley-Hiles factor. Buki matters in Southern California.
I think hopefully everybody stopped bashing him after our Orange Bowl interview.
He got rid of the hammer, people. Just let him be. And I really think Alex Grinch is what I've watched of Washington State. He is creative enough to find ways to use Buki's skills. Kind of like what we were talking about at the very beginning. There are some things that Buki's not going to be as good at. He doesn't need to line up on a 6'4" receiver and play outside all day. Like,
he needs to stop trying to kill people over the middle too, because he's just getting hurt.
Exactly.
He's not big enough.
But there are roles he can be a really good player in.
Well, and to me, look, if Grinch and Manning and these guys want to make, and we didn't really talk about it, but it's pretty obvious. You look at it now with Grinch, this time they're offering new kids. They're trying to get kids to come in on campus, but yet he's trying to install a new defense and work with his staff. Like, he has so much on his plate right now. It makes more sense to me that Manning is that guy. Like, he wasn't a cornerbacks coach, but if he can just kind of be the head of that recruiting, position for safeties and corners or whatever, and then let Grinch kind of do. I mean, look, they have if they got Ricks to come in here and they could pull something off and end up being a real factor in that thing, like, that would show you, okay, this defensive recruiting staff is for real. Like, that would make a huge statement. If
you could keep Green Warren, find a way for Grinch to build on that relationship with Keely Ringo, land him, and even just get Ricks on campus.
Yeah.
That's something no one at OU has done in a long time. I mean, that's 3 of the best corners in the country. And, we talked about Ricks being a freak. Ringo's a freak, too. I mean,
I think he finished second in the...
Can't confirm on the Ringo.
I think he finished second in the what do we call that, speed thing we did in Atlanta?
Speed challenge or whatever. I can't remember what
Eddie,
it is exactly.
I think Bob was standing there with us. You remember being there in Atlanta when he walked through check-in? And, I thought he was a linebacker, talking about Ringo.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that kid's big.
Yeah, he's a monster.
And when then he goes and rips like a 4.5 electric.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you see him on the field, all that, he's long and he's athletic, he moves like a DB. He doesn't move like a linebacker.
Yeah. And that was and same with Ricks. Both of them, you're like, okay, once they get out here and have to cover these guys one-on, the Theos and the Trajans and all these guys, they're going to run into some trouble. No, they were fine. I'm not to say they didn't get beat sometimes. Sure, they did, but they were going against great players,
You know what you need to do is get those guys on campus and have them spend their entire time with Theo Weiss and Jaden Hazel and say, these are the guys that are going to make you better in practice every day.
Yep.
Go find that somewhere else.
And you're
seem
right on,
that's what
Carey,
they're trying to sell a lot. Especially at the end.
LSU's not going to have those kind of receivers.
No, especially at the end of last year when you saw a guy even going back to Buki's recruitment, they sold him on the idea that you could come and get better every day at practice.
Yep.
And
they need to, otherwise they're going to keep thinking A.D. Miller's great coming out of camp every year.
Yeah, that's true too. Anybody ever say where he landed? I never saw anything.
Illinois,
right?
I think everybody goes.
Right.
Illinois takes all.
I did see that.
Guess what? Ron Tatum,
that.
Illinois. That's my bet right now.
I don't know.
See, I was going more like
become a
UCO.
feeder program.
Well, it's Bishop Dunn. All the Bishop Dunn guys are ending up at Illinois. I don't know what that's about.
Weird, yes. Huh.
Mm-hmm. And they've got some good players. I mean, they've got a couple of guys that OU's after right now, including Brendan Scott, who came in for the first junior day. So it's I don't know what's happened there, but ever since they got Calvin Avery, Illinois is cleaning up at Bishop Dunn.
Maybe you should go talk to their bagmen after that staff gets fired.
Well, Lovey looks like Old Man Winter now, so.
Okay, so, next up, big thing really, you're going out to L.A. Sooners have junior day, the big junior day coming up, next weekend?
The following next Saturday, but Milton's actually coming in next Thursday, unless that's changed.
Outside of that, any other business, boys? We good? OU Hoops sucks? They're just getting worse?
They're embarrassing. They're flat out embarrassing.
Hey, Eddie, I think OU softball is going to be pretty good again this year.
What gives you that indication?
Just gut feeling.
I think
I would agree.
I think they're. Did you see the photo the other day? I think we have a new Lauren Chamberlain.
I have no idea.
I haven't seen.
What?
Do I need to go cover the team?
Eddie's about to slide into some DMs.
That's creepy. I'm too old to do this. No.
Yeah, they're college girls.
You're too creepy to do this.
I know. That's what I'm saying. No, I think they are going to be good, though. I was talking to somebody the other day. They think this could – I don't even know how this came up, but they think this could be the best offensive team that Gasso's ever had.
Wow.
Which tells me that that's pretty damn good.
Well, it's scary that they have a sophomore that's probably already the best hitter in the game.
Yeah, she's not bad. She's not bad.
But hey, there's guys. Okay,
by the way, I think it was
basketball.
Kaylee Clifton. She's a senior, so I guess you can be weird about her.
this is a pod for everybody. We've talked men's and women's basketball, however, peripherally. We've talked softball. We've talked baseball. I mean, gymnastics is kicking ass as usual. So, I mean, we're an all-sports pod now, officially.
When do they not kick ass?
Yeah.
And that's the gymnastics program.
Mark Williams does not play.
She on our team?
Yeah, that's Kaylee Clifton.
That's not the team.
Oh, that's not the team you're talking about.
That's just, it's 2019. You got to ask.
I don't know. And she is a softball player, which has a history of,
Well, see? That's okay, too. It's 2019. I'm not judging.
Do they still wear the ribbons?
I don't know. You're going to get me in trouble.
I have a connection that played pretty major college softball that tells me that is still a thing.
That's still a thing? Ribbons are still a thing?
As of, I guess I would say probably 3 years ago.
Okay.
So maybe it's changed since then. But relatively recently, that was still a thing.
Interesting. All right.
Would you go on the Jose Canseco?
Yes, I absolutely would. I absolutely would.
Should we do a live pod from that?
If we could, we would.
I think that's
Now explain what it is again for people that don't know.
It's, I need to pull it up just so I don't misquote it.
And there's a phone number.
It's a
to
UFO
contact
and
them.
Bigfoot?
Bigfoot.
and
Yes.
UFO tour?
Yeah.
Well, he's really
Guided
big
tour.
into aliens right now. He's been tweeting about aliens for a long time. But last
I'm
night,
not kidding. That year that we went to Seattle, we were driving through like the woods and stuff. I was really looking for Sasquatch. Like I was just
Sasquatch is
expecting
100%
that he was
real.
going to jump out at any time.
Sasquatch and Bigfoot. I know some people that have seen Bigfoot. Jose
Consider them
Canseco.
two separate things?
Yes,
Bigfoot is different from Sasquatch in your
somewhat.
world.
Yes, there could be.
They're different
Ooh.
species.
Okay.
Different
that's a new
animals
one.
for sure. Jose Canseco just said, "Go on a Bigfoot and alien excursion with Jose Canseco. Contact Morgan Management at 702-374-3735." Okay, Jose.
I bet
Come
it's
spend a
very
day with
expensive.
me and my alien buddies. I'll show you Bigfoot and a real alien.
It's probably something stupid like $10,000.
I would bet so. I would imagine that it's probably pretty expensive.
You're going to see Bigfoot, of course.
What price can you put on that?
I want my money back if I don't see Bigfoot. I want Bigfoot to tear Jose Canseco's arm off for $10,000.
Yeah, something tells me that Jose Canseco isn't running an organization that if you don't see Bigfoot, you get your money back. That's just a guess, though.
There's no guarantees for anything.
There's no guarantees of seeing anything.
Okay, I appreciate it, guys. No comments last week about Babe Ruth being a hoax. Kind of disappointed that nobody
Was that
is
just
ready to
last
join
week?
on me.
That feels like that was a month ago.
I know. Did a big show last week. Yeah, everybody keeps jumping on board the podcast, and we appreciate that. We want to make sure you guys look.
The
go
numbers are
rate and
ridiculous
subscribe.
right now.
Yeah, go rate and subscribe on whatever podcast platform you listen on. And we need to get back into ratings and reviews on the pod.
It's
Maybe
good,
some voicemails.
Yeah, it's good off-season banter.
Yeah, we might try and get back into the voicemails as well. So thanks to Choctaw Casino, Coop Ale Works for sponsoring the pod. Go out and support those good folks, guys. They make all this possible each and every week. So thanks to Josh, thanks to Eddie, thanks to Bob. I am Carey Murdoch, and we'll see you guys back here next week after Josh returns from L.A. in the Three-Stripe Rivals camp out in California. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next time right back here on the Choctaw Casino and Resort in Durant Unofficial 40 Podcast.